Be wary.
Just to elaborate on that really quick. So what Mark meant, I guess, when he brought up like LifeLog and Facebook. So like LifeLog and these other programs, which also brought us Palantir, another Peter Thiel PayPal Mafia company. They tried to make this insane panopticon program after 9/11 called Total Information Awareness. Look up the logo. It's very illuminating. And basically the goal, they put like an Iran-Contra criminal in charge of it who was obsessed with like mass surveillance for the purpose of pre-crime and arresting people for like potentially threatening the existing status quo of the government and like protesting war nonviolently and stuff, in charge of this DARPA public-private partnership called Total Information Awareness that was going to suck up everyone's data and predictively, just enable a pre-crime type of surveillance dragnet. Very unconstitutional stuff. And I think the national security state realized then, because there was a huge uproar about it, that people were not willing to accept that if the government was overtly involved, but they would if it appeared at least as a purely private sector venture. Mm-hmm. So the same, I think, is true for CBDCs. They've seen this pushback. People don't want CBDCs and no to central bank control. They don't want the government issuing the CBDC and the government programming and surveilling the money. So I think they're going to do what they did with Total Information Awareness, use private entities like, JP Morgan, the same banks that everyone, most people use now, and have them be the issuers of the de facto CBDC, or rather the synthetic CBDC is the term that gets thrown around some as well. Synthetic CBDCs, as defined by the people that use that term, is something like a stable coin with a twist, which means that the reserves are backed up by the Fed or backed up with the Fed. And it's going to get even worse, the terms of like the blending of these groups, because that same Carnegie Endowment thing that I mentioned with like all the big US banks, the Fed, the ECB, the Bank of England, and like tech companies and stuff, their solution to cyber attack problems or a coming cyber pandemic was to basically merge banks, banking regulators, and intelligence agencies. If and when this big cyber attack that they're predictively programming happens, the enemy is going to be privacy. They're going to be like, we can't have privacy anymore. That's what they're going to say. I guarantee that, because that's the only way they can, basically force adoption of all this stuff they want to do, which is CBDC's digital ID is they want everything you do online to be completely surveillable. And that includes financial transactions, like specifically financial transactions. And so people for a long time have rightly pointed out that digital IDs and CBDCs are like, they go together, right? You get both. It's not just like one or the other. Like it's a very like integrated thing. This is all also tied up with this goal to have the driver's license for the internet, that you have to have, your digital ID, your government issued ID tied to everything you do online. Whatever happens with this thing, they're going to blame whoever they want, really, because we know with like WikiLeaks Vault 7, right? The CIA through the Umbridge program can put like the fingerprints of literally any nation state or person they want in any cyber attack and blame them.
It was Russian bots.
Yeah, or they can, like they've been doing recently, not actually have any evidence, but then get a mainstream media highline that says, Iran hacked this, China hacked this. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like it's all just fake, and a lot of those companies attributing blame, like Recorded Future, for example, has a recent one that's been surfacing. They were created by the CIA